All right, welcome to this episode of Your Music, Your Story. We're out in Las Vegas, Nevada, this hellhole. Just kidding. But we're talking with Josh from Jerk.
Hi there, how's
Jerk,
it going?
not Jerks. I guess that was a hard one when I started Googling. I'm like, Jerks.
Yeah, there's
no
a lot
jerks.
of things that come up. And sometimes when people do posters for us, they'll like just put jerk. And I'm like, and I was like, I don't mean to be a butthead, but it's exclamation mark, so it makes it different.
I don't mean to be a jerk, but it's jerk with an exclamation. Oh, nice. So who all you got in the band with you?
So on guitar we have Matt Brown, and then drums would be Josh Howard. Matt actually started in the band like a year and a half or 2 years after the band started. But me and Josh have been in the band since day one.
Okay. So when I was looking at some of the pictures, sometimes you had 4 and 3
Yeah,
just to kind of go back and forth?
So originally it was me, Josh on drums, and Tate Hall on bass. And I had met Matt at the dive bar, and we had talked about bands like the Lillingtons and the Ramones and stuff. And he was in another band called Badger, and with a few friends of ours. And they had one last show. I think it was a Sloppy Seconds show. And
is that a band? Or is
yeah,
that
it's a band. You should look them up. They're great. From Indianapolis, Indiana. Great band. After that show, the band kind of dismembered, and he told me, "Man, it sucks. I can't play in another band. Let me know if anything." A couple weeks later, I told him, "Hey, if you want to play second guitar for Jerk, that'd be awesome." So he did, and he's been in the band ever since. His first show was at Vinyl. We opened up for Interrupters and I think the Swimmers.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was a really good show. It's all ages show. I wish it was inside the Hard Rock, but Hard Rock's not around anymore. So now it's Virgin Hotel and Casino.
Okay, I didn't know they had all ages show in the Hard Rock.
Yeah, it was called Vinyl, and it was a pretty cool room. I think it was like 500 cap or maybe even more. But
That's
it's
not bad.
pretty cool, and so many kids. It would start at 7:00, and I was, so many kids were there. Kids that were in college or kids that were just in high school, and their parents took them. It was a really cool show.
You're like, totally awesome. So what's I'm assuming, because Vegas is a lot bigger than I thought it would. We've come out here. It just seems like there's places everywhere to play around here, or is there? It seems like it is.
There is. Before COVID, there was way more places to play, but there's some new ones popping up, especially downtown. We used to have Beauty Bar, and that's not there anymore. And we used to have called the Bunkhouse Saloon, which was a really good venue downtown. Really only downtown now is Fremont Country Club, a place called The Usual Place.
I've heard of that one.
And Backstage Bar and Billiards.
Okay.
Those are really only one down. And then, actually, I take that back. They just opened up inside the plaza. It's called Sand Dollar Downtown, which there's the original Sand Dollar, which is on Spring Mountain, and that was based very 60s and 70s blues bands would play there. But they had opened one inside the plaza. It's called Sand Dollar Downtown. We just played there in January.
Now, has that got more? So the other one has more blues kind of stuff?
Yeah. This is kind of more. It's. I think they're kind of going for more of a variety.
Okay.
From it could be classic rock one night, the next night it could be a metal show to whatever.
So you don't venture much because there's not a whole lot to play right there on the Strip.
Yeah,
for
Fremont, especially for the Strip. Yeah, there's House of Blues, but you have to it's always going to be a bigger headliner, and you're going to have to fight your way to get as an opening spot. So, but I like this, but I love going to House of Blues, and I love going to Brooklyn Bowl, and it's really fun to go to those shows. I've had some really good memories at Brooklyn Bowl off the Strip. So,
that's pretty cool. Is there a lot of bands out here?
There's a lot of bands out here. That's the reason I moved out here. I moved here in 2015 from Indiana. And I moved here because I wanted to get into a bigger musician pool, and it happened, and that's how Jerk started. I 6 months after I moved here, I started the band. But there's so many bands I met that came here or they're Vegas. So many bands. There's good bands there's Franks and Deans. There's they don't play around here much because not everybody lives here anymore, but. Band called the Pluralists. If we get a chance, check those guys out.
Plurals?
The Pluralists.
Pluralists.
They're pretty funny. It's I don't know. it kind of reminds me of like Nerf Herder, but like more comedy in a way.
Oh, like just silly songs about dumb stuff?
Yeah, it's dick jokes. It's so great. They're really good. There's a band that we used to play with quite a bit, and they're not around anymore, called Sheiks of Neptune. They're kind of like sci-fi surf with like metal and punk.
I hit him up.
Oh,
it didn't go so well.
Oh.
He's like, well, there's things I'm just going to wait for a little bit.
Yeah. Those guys are great. And Brian does a lot of the, puts on music and stuff. He does a great job. And he's a great artist, too. He did a couple, like, T-shirts for us, too.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, like we have I don't know if you've seen our page, Spicoli. It's like, hey, bud, let's party. And there's, like, a pizza over his, like, above his head.
I saw like some mummy ones. It looked like
that. Our good friend Andy Harrison from Empire 13. He does a lot of my posters and a lot of artwork for us off and on.
Let me check this out.
But yeah, he did the mummy one. But Brian did the Spicoli one, and then he did our other mummy one called Mummy 2.0. This has like the crossbones on it.
So when you moved out here from Indiana, were you like, okay, I'm going to go to Vegas? Most people will go to California. Is there like a better scene out here or something?
I just knew a few people here, and I found out it was like at that time it was pretty cheap to live here. I was like, well, at least I could start in Vegas, and then if figure out how good situation is to move to like LA or something. But when I started playing shows in California, I was like, wait, that's like way expensive. I can't do this.
It's crazy. It is just, oh my goodness. Yeah, especially during that housing bubble.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Some of the houses in our neighborhood, we were looking at them. They were like $800,000. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
There's no way.
I believe it.
They are not worth anywhere near that much.
Yeah.
But
funny story. I read up on this a couple months ago, but Danzig's old house was in East LA. It might have been East LA or maybe very close to Hollywood area. I don't remember where it was exactly at, but it was a real shitstorm of a house, and he sold it for. It said that he sold it for like $1.1 million. I was like, what?
Well, because my wife watches those, the fixer-up shows. Whatever they buy a house, and I mean, they'll buy some of these houses like around Compton, and I'm like, man, who the hell wants to live there? And they're like, they're nice-looking houses.
Yeah,
$890,000. I'm like, man, who's going to buy a house in Compton for that much? But whatever, it's California. It is what it is. So tell me about what's your style and jerk. Would you call it?
Like, I don't know. I always say when people ask us what we sound like, I'm like, like old '90s pop punk or Ramones core kind of stuff, like 3-chord progressions, and the band is pretty much based off of like anything the Ramones ever did or wanted to do. Like their band's like
nothing wrong with that.
Oh yeah, no, I love the Ramones all day. Like I would say our best thing we ever got to do was this last September. We got to play a couple days with Marky, and that was really Marky Ramone.
Oh,
he has a thing he does, Marky Ramone's Blitzkrieg, and he has a couple guys, like 2 guys from, 3 guys from Europe. And then he just plays drums, and then they do like a bunch of Ramones songs.
So it's kind of like a Ramones cover with one Ramone kind of thing?
Yeah.
Is this pretty good?
Great. As old as he is, he's still like just killing the shit out of the hi-hat and like just like so good. Like
just beating him down.
Yeah, it was so great to see him. Like we played with him downtown at Fremont Country Club, and then we played in San Diego at House of Blues and Venice Beach we played.
Okay.
And then... yeah, just those 3 shows, but it was awesome.
So how'd you get on that?
I got on there because I knew his agent, and he said that they needed help with backline. I was like, if I can fully do his backline plus my own gear, is there any way I could get on those shows? And they're like, yeah, we got you, man. I don't know.
Hell yeah!
I was like, it was so great, and we got to. And Marky didn't really talk much, but like he was super nice to us. His wife was very nice to us. And every so often on Instagram, like, they'll, like, comment back on it. We're like, okay, he must have kind of liked us or something.
Maybe. Maybe a little bit.
But it's really cool.
When you went down there, so you guys were separate? You had your own everything?
Or yeah, it was separate gear. So, like, we brought his own gear, and then we had our gear, which we went like pretty small. Like I had like a smaller bass amp, and then Matt uses like 212.
Okay.
And then Josh just used his own kit, you know. But like we were able to put it, because we did not anymore, but we used to have a running. We used to use a 350 Econoline, and so it's pretty large. You know, you can fit a lot in there.
Yeah, especially if you got 3 members.
Yeah. So like, and then back to where you were asking about being a 4-piece. Like, so I played guitar from the beginning.
Okay.
And then our bass player was not in the band anymore, and we still wanted to go out and tour as much as we could. So I was like, I'll just play bass because I really wanted to play bass. And Matt stayed on guitar, and Josh is still on drums, but. Because people come up to me like, didn't you play guitar? I'm like, I did, but I play bass now.
We needed a bass player.
Yeah, we need a bass player, and it all worked out.
That's how most bass players start. They'll start on guitar. We need a bass player, though. All right, I'll do it. Damn it, now I'm stuck. Yeah, that's a dreaded... We had a ska band that was like that. I wanted to play guitar in a band. So I'm like, I met these dudes, because they needed a drummer years ago, but it just didn't work out. I remember they showed up. The band I was playing, and we had 2 guitar players, and they had full stacks.
Oh, yeah.
Bass player had this stack at 1010, Ampeg stack, 1,000-watt amp.
Yeah.
I mean, they had some, and I'm a loud player. I just get excited. I hit real hard. So these dudes show up. They're like, yeah, we're looking for a drummer. Cool. They show up with these little practice amps that were like maybe an 8-inch, maybe.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, dude, we can't do this. We can't. This is not going to work. Anyway, so that didn't work. So I saw them a couple years later. They're like, yeah, we're looking for another guitar player. So I'm like, all right, dude, I'll join. And anyway, then I met him up like 2 weeks later, and he's like, dude, our drummer just quit. You want to be the drummer? I'm like, damn, I don't want to play the drums. But that's what happens, dang it.
Oh, yeah.
Those necessities.
Right on.
So which one do you like better? Or do you even care?
I like them both, just like in certain ways.
Okay.
I like bass a lot. It's always fun, you know, doing runs and stuff, you know, like whatever on bass. And then guitar, I like it too, but especially for jerk, I always like guitar so much because I was always about the downstrokes. And I had to push on to Matt, because Matt wouldn't downstroke as much. But I was like, you need to downstroke just a little bit more.
He just wasn't used to it, or did he play just a different style, kind of?
He kind of grew into the style, though.
Okay.
And Josh did, too, though. Like, he, at first, like, this is, like, actually, Josh is more of a metal thrash drummer.
Okay.
So this is, like, his first punk band he ever played in.
I did notice on some of them you could hear double bass every now and then. Not very often, especially on your 122. Every now and then he sprinkles those ones in there.
For sure. Puts it right in there. But, yeah, this is his first punk band, but he was kind of like, I don't know if I'm going to do this, but after he liked it so much, he just stayed in the band for the long. We're almost been a band for like 8 years, so it's kind of crazy to think. This is the longest project I've ever done.
And you've only you haven't had just that 4. Other than that, you haven't had much lineup change, right?
No, not much.
Yeah, that's impressive for that long.
It was just, it's nice to meet other musicians that will take the mile and be like, hey, I want to go on tour too, and try to make it work. You know, hit the mark.
So when you did the one with the Ramon cover band, or the Ramon one.
Yeah.
How long was that? Was it just 3 shows?
Yeah, it was just 3 shows. Like they I think they only had like, they might have had like 4 or 5, but like their 5th show was Riot Fest, and then that was the end of it.
Yeah, that would have been nice if you could have got on that.
Asked, I was like, we'll fly out there or something, figure something out.
You need us.
And he's like, no, you can't get on Riot Fest. Like, okay. But no, they were great. I mean, like, through the whole, for the band Jerk, like, we played with some really great bands that we really look up to, and it's been great to play with those bands.
So just a question on that one. One of your posts I saw that you guys had been in, it was like 18 or 16 states and 4,000 miles.
Yeah.
Now, what was that? What was that tour? That seemed like a good one.
It was probably, that'd been last July. We did like a full month.
Oh, you did all that in a month?
Yeah, we did about like 3.5 weeks or something like that.
Dang.
So right on a month. We went from pretty much the Southwest all the way up to the Midwest, to a little bit of the East Coast, and then back down. And I forget what the last couple of dates were, but it was a long run.
Yeah, after 32 days, 26 shows, 18 states, 9,000 miles.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
How'd you get? Did you guys set that up, or did you just jump on?
I do all the booking. Like I've always done all the booking, and usually we try to do like 3 or 4 months, in advance. Like try to get it all set up.
Okay.
I think on that one, I had 2.5 months to get it done.
You just got connections, or you just Googled?
Connections from I met a lot of connections. So I used to book shows at a place called Evil Pie on Fremont Street, and I met a lot of bands, touring bands that would hit me up with like, "Hey, can we play a show?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll book you a show. I'll make sure you get this and that. But as a favor, if I ever come through you, could you help me out?" And that was kind of like where I built a lot of my connections from that. And then I was always on Facebook for Facebook groups and stuff from punk rock of Denver or something like that. And I would just post on there like, "Hey, I'm looking for," and somebody would tag somebody else, and then I would keep that person in connection. And I would just it's like a.
So it wasn't too hard to find.
No, it seemed like it wasn't, and we would just play. But I knew I grew up in the Midwest, so I knew a lot of Midwest promoters and venues to go to.
Oh dang! So do you have a favorite place you like to play when you go?
On tour, yeah. I love playing Chicago. There's a place we play in Chicago called Liars Club. If you're ever in Chicago, you should check it out. It's a really cool little punk rock club. I like playing there, and if we play anywhere in Wisconsin, I really like playing Wisconsin because they know how to party. They're great up there. They have a great punk rock scene there. We played
in Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
Weird.
We played Oshkosh last summer. Oshkosh, Wisconsin, has this place called the Reptile Palace. I remember we pulled up and Matt's like, "Is this like a pet shop or something?"
You can play in the back.
I was like, "No, it's a bar. It's right there. Just I don't know. They have a reptile on the front of the bar. I don't know." But it was a small little bar. It was really cool. And it was a Friday night. It was just us and another local band that we knew.
Oh, nice.
The place was it was just being a smaller town. It was just one of those. It's one of those places where
that's where everybody goes.
Yeah, there's nothing else going on, so they're going to go to that bar to go see that show. But it was wild. But we played Milwaukee a few times, and we've always had a good turnout. And we play with our friends, the Avenues. They're a pretty good band. I like them a lot.
So how long when you book your tours? How long do you try? Do you keep it in a certain amount of time, or just?
I try to do if we can go out for at least 2 and 2.5 weeks. I'm happy with that.
Okay, and then how far would you go if you do a 2.5 week period?
We kind of have an idea. Okay, well this tour is going to be all Midwest, so let's hit all these spots.
You maybe stop in Ohio or something. Yeah. That's as far as you're going to go, or something.
Yeah, something like that. We've never really fully gotten to the East Coast. On this last one, where the one you were just pulling up, we I think the furthest we got up there was I think it was Delaware.
That's still pretty good, though.
Yeah, we're pretty close to Philly.
I'll count that as you went the East Coast.
Yeah, we just want to, but we do want to. I would love to go up and play some spots in New York or in Rhode Island or in Boston. And we just haven't went up to New England area yet.
There's nothing up there but snow and trees. I don't know. I've never been there. I have no idea. It just seems like that's what's up there.
Yeah, I've never been up. I've been to. We were supposed to play Atlanta, but one time, but that's stuff we kind of want to do, some kind of the South, maybe do some Florida next time, and Atlanta, North Carolina, South Carolina. We just haven't really done that much.
Man, you guys really put on some miles on your van.
Oh yeah, we've been through 3 vans, I think, through the whole band, maybe 4, but I think right on 3. But Matt had got a pretty good sized minivan, so right now we've been just kind of going to smaller amps, and then we'll do a weekend or maybe a week with a friend's band. We're hey, we can play this week with you or this weekend, but we're gonna have to backline some sort because we don't have a van right now.
So how does it? Like when you go, is you just go with the three of you, or do you take someone else along?
Sometimes our friend Travis Fender, he sometimes does our merch for us.
Okay.
He loves doing it.
That's not bad. 4 people.
Yeah, no. Nothing more than 4 usually. No.
Is your drummer got a big set? He just has a 4-piece, right?
Yeah, he does a 4-piece. So when I first started jamming with him in
the full metal set,
he had this big rack system. I was like, what? No, man, we got to downgrade here a little bit.
Ain't no Dream Theater around here.
It took about a year and a half for him to like, yeah, you know what? I get what you're saying. I'm gonna put up the rack. Like, we're not gonna do the rack anymore.
Does he still have it? He just doesn't bring it?
I think he still does. He has like 4 or 5 kits in his house. It's crazy. And he has a one-bedroom apartment, and he fits all those drums in there somehow. I don't know how, but he does it.
Where there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah.
Never underestimate a drummer.
Oh, no, not him for sure.
But when I went to Texas, because a friend, he's like, yeah, come down, we'll be in a band. I'm like, all right, I flew down there. We were just going to check and stuff out. And when we stopped by a pawn shop, and they had a Pearl, it was a 1 bass drum, 2 toms, 2 floor toms, and a snare, and some stands. And I'm like, $200? Hell yeah.
Yeah, no shit.
So I'm like, okay, well, how the hell am I going to get this on a plane? So I took all the lugs off except the bass drum, stuck it all in there. Yeah. That was like 98, I think it was.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was my carry-on. It was I just rolled the bass drum in on the scale. I had all the stands in my duffel bag.
Oh, you gotta love it.
That's how I got that thing home.
I can't beat that.
Sometimes you got to find a way to do it.
Right. No, sure. Josh is like, it's crazy. Like sometimes he's like got some really killer deals on drums. Like he has this old. He's only played it out live a few times, but it is a really cool kit. It's like all silver. I think it's like a 1970s like Slingerland.
Oh dang!
I was like.
Is that like his pride and joy?
I was like, yeah. He was like, I love this kit, but maybe you're right. Maybe since it's kind of more of a vintage set, maybe I shouldn't really play it out much. And I was like, that's up to you, but I wouldn't have played it out that much, man. But and then he got the Pearl kit that he uses pretty much for touring. He got that for I think $350, and it's a really good kit. It's a pro custom kit, and he got it for like $300 or $400.
Is that the one that's kind of like a blue? Because I've seen some pictures on there. It's like a bluish color, I think.
Yeah, it's they are black, but maybe the lighting might change it a little bit.
So the last album you did, what is it? Welcome to
Sleepaway Camp. It's it's an EP. It's a 7-inch record.
Okay.
2 songs on A and 2 songs on B.
Okay.
We recorded that in 2020, and then it came out in 2022 because
like COVID and all that. Is that what happened?
We started writing those songs and
PDX. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you know the Maxis.
Yes.
That one just for some reason had like a maxi type of sound.
Yeah,
I don't know why,
Maxis.
But it just did. And that's one that he wrote, right? Or no, 92% was Matt.
92. Me and Matt wrote that one together. Matt actually wrote all the lyrics, and I started the first line, and then he went off of that. But I wrote pretty much all the chord structure and stuff.
Okay.
But a lot of the time now, me and Matt will put everything together. If I'm not writing the lyrics, he'll write the lyrics, or he hasn't came out with a chord progression, then kind of just. But somehow it always works. Somehow works in some kind of magic, and it's been great.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
What's that one about?
So, because a lot of people are like, okay, this is not about Portland, obviously. So we were on tour, and we had a couple days off, and we stayed at our buddy's house in Portland. And we had a couple days. I was like, yeah, we should write some, maybe new songs or something, take them on the road or get them ready for the next departure. And it was in Portland, so we were like, hey, let's just name it PDX. So honestly, it's about entering in another dimension, or it's very spacey. Like I said, it kind of gets a little. It just doesn't really have a meaning. It's just saying
almost like an acid trip.
Yeah, kind of. You just you don't know exactly. You're when you're into another dimension, goes into the next one. You really don't know what's going on, and you don't want to let go because you like this feeling.
I can't see anything.
like I said, it came out in 2022, so it came out last year. But because it takes about a year, took about a year to get it pressed and get it out and everything. But
now, is that what? Because I don't know anything about records. Is that like a normal record thing, or because of COVID, that's kind of what messed that up?
Because of COVID, there was a lot of record pressing plants that like just went out of business, or there was only so many to work with. I think with that record that we did, Mom's Basement Records out of Pennsylvania, the record label we're on, I think they had to go through a press plant in Italy and then bring it over. And then I don't know if you heard the band The Jasons. If you get a chance, check those guys out. They're a pretty good band. They were over there, and I think they had grabbed most of the copies or whatever, so we could have them for our tour and stuff, which that was really cool of them.
What, they just happened to be over there or something?
Yeah, they were. I don't know. One of them was over there doing music something. I don't know. But John and Trisha from Mom's Basement Records, they've been really great to us, and they've always like helped us out and try to push us up as much as they can. And they're like they're a smaller group of a record label, but like if you're into like 90s pop punk and like Ramones core stuff, that's all they put out. And
so Mom's Basement, that's a label.
Yes, it's a label.
Okay, and that's who you guys are on?
Yes. Yep. I had a few friends that were on there, and they told me you should hit up John and talk to him and see if he would, possibly take you guys in.
So now, what do they do for you nowadays? Because I know it's a lot different than back in the old '90s.
John, they help us, put out the whatever record, we're trying to put out, and they help with promotion quite a bit.
Oh, that's good.
And on the East Coast, because they're more on the East Coast, like if we were able to get to the East Coast, he's always told us like he could help us like book some East Coast dates for us and stuff like that. So
if he actually made it out that far, he could get you up down there.
Yeah, and stuff like that. But they just do, and they started really small, and like honestly, they are independent, but they really like skyrocketed on social media with just so many people are interested in Mom's Basement Records and like stuff like bands like Teenage Bottle Rocket, Screeching Weasel, the Vapids, and like stuff like that. Like a lot of people really like anything that Mom's Basement puts out, they'll buy it because they know they're honest people. And
so Screeching Weasel's on Mom's Basement?
No, I was saying
that's that style.
Like the style of that. If you have a style where you like that kind of music, Mom's Basement like has that style of music being put out.
Nice. That's cool. Let's do a 92%.
Funny thing about this record is Matt has one like sad love song. I have one sad love song on there. So like,
is this the one?
This would be Matt's sad, but it's a great song. I always liked it. I know for a little while, like Matt was like, I don't know if I want to put that out, and I was like, I think it's a great.
It's catchy. It's got a catchy little rhythm on it, or lead.
Yeah, it's very catchy. But Matt pretty much wrote everything. I wrote the lead on that, and then I put together the bridge. Okay. At the end, near the end, but he wrote like all the lyrics and stuff, and I think they're great lyrics, and it's a great song. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah, that one's a fun one to listen to.
Let's go.
All right, so you're going to do a record in the future.
Yeah, we haven't really been playing out much right now because we've been writing, and we're trying to get to the point where we can like start recording this summer for a new record, a full length.
So are you not? Because a lot of people now are doing those singles.
Yeah.
Are you guys going to do that?
We talked about it. I think for us, I want to record full length, and then there'd be like one or two before the record actually comes out. Maybe like one or two I would like spit out here and there.
Okay, just release a few singles, but then you have the whole album after
correct,
that.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do you guys write your music? Do you have a specific way of writing, or you just whatever comes to mind and see what happens?
Whatever comes to mind, but I have a certain way I want like songs to sound or be put out. But this album's like it has more of like I guess like a darker end to it.
Ooh, a little more angry.
I wouldn't say I guess so angry, but like some of the songs have a kind of like I would say like kind of a spacey sci-fi like little theme to it. But we're still writing a lot of the songs and trying to like I always say like each album should be like one step from the other one. So just keep going on the ladder on each record.
Okay. So when you go as a bass player, but you are a guitar player,
right?
And you go into the studio, do you just do bass and that's it, or will you do some guitar parts as well?
Sometimes I will do like maybe some rhythms, or like if there's a lead I wrote for it, and I'll just do that. But a lot of the time, Matt does really well at recording guitar, and I don't really mess around. I
let him do his thing.
Do the bass, and I do the vocals, and he does backups, and so. But this new stuff we've done. Matt he's actually doing, because on the 7-inch, Matt he did one track, which was 92%. He wrote that song, and that's his song. And I always told him I wanted to hear him like sing more lead, like going back and forth between me and him.
Okay.
And we've got that point where we've got pretty close on it. It's just like this record, he's going to do a couple more songs that are like mostly lead on, and I'm just doing backups.
Oh, nice.
So kind of go back and forth. Kind of thing.
So when you write music, do you write on guitar or do you write on bass, or just really whichever you grab?
Mostly guitar, yeah. I'll start with guitar or some kind of rhythm, and then later on basses, like put like a
just put some runs on there.
Yeah,
and call
like
it
diddly or something on there. I don't know.
A diddly. Oh, bass player talk.
Something like that.
So, are you going to go to the same studio you did the Welcome to Sleepaway Camp, or are you going to go somewhere else?
Honestly, I can tell you, we don't know right now. There's a couple places we've talked to, and we don't know. There was our friend Dave Klein that we had talked to.
Yeah, I've talked.
So
that sounds familiar.
So he has a recording studio in L.A., in California. He was a drummer for Agent Orange for a long time, but he has a pretty cool studio, and we had a few friends that have recorded over there with him. I was thinking about when we're ready, go hit him up and see if we can get a date, But there was another guy I think in Denver, I don't know off the top of my head who it was, but we've kind of been putting back and forth. But I would say of the two records that we have recorded, those two, so we recorded Panic Attack, the full length. We recorded that at Digital Insight Studios here. Our friend Mike Lavin, that is a drummer of the Pluralsis. I talked about
the Pluralsis.
He recorded that album. He did a great job, and it was like our first record. So like there was a lot of songs that like I had wrote like 6 or 7 of those songs before Matt had even gotten the band, and I had it on some other EP that I don't want to talk about because it's very terrible. It's so terrible. I took it off the internet. I was like, I do not want to hear that.
So, are they the same songs, or did you change them up a little bit?
They're the same songs. They are changed up just by a bit.
Oh, that's funny.
They just sound a lot louder and more powerful.
Those back alley internets.
Yeah, I mean, it was my roommate's. He had the recordings set up, and for what it was okay. But I like listened to it now, and the way we record now, I'm like, oh man, that was so it's awful.
It sounded like doo-doo.
Yeah, and he does a great job. It's just like we were just becoming that band, and we didn't know who we really were at the beginning.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
You know, you live and you learn.
Yeah, I mean, there's some videos, like live videos on YouTube that we played, on tour, and I'm like, oh my God, it's terrible. I kind of want to comment, like, hey, can someone take this down? Because this is, like, awful.
Who put this up there, damn it? That's all right.
It's been great.
So what's Sleepaway Camp?
So
that's your album name, right?
Right. In the 80s, there's a slasher film called Sleepaway Camp. It's kind of like I guess a ripoff to like Friday the 13th, but it's about this girl that it's like her family gets murdered and from like a boat incident, and then she goes to this camp, and then she starts killing all these kids off like one by one, and into counselors, and it's just like terrible. And I'm not gonna ruin it if you've never seen it. You just need to watch the end because it's hilarious.
Is that where the foot on the album cover comes from?
Yes, correct. That comes from that. And I'm I'm a big horror buff. I love horror movies, so that's why I always like kind of write like something about a horror movie every so often.
Okay.
Like on her first record was like I Killed the Prom Queen. That's about
so I heard
Jamie,
that one.
Jamie Lee Curtis, and I always like that shit. And then this one, I was like, we should write a song about Sleepaway Camp, and they're like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like,
are the other ones like horror movie buffs like you?
Not so much. Matt, he likes horror movies, and I mean, Josh doesn't. He's just like, man, as long as I get to play drums, I don't care.
Whatever, I don't care.
But no, that's why I just thought it'd be a cool concept, and it's actually I was really sad. It was in February, so they have Days of the Dead horror convention that comes to town.
Okay.
And there was a couple people from Sleepaway Camp that were at the convention. I was out of town. I didn't have a chance to go.
You're like, son of.
I wanted to just take the record and be like, hey, can you sign this and take a picture? And good thing I haven't got any like. I'm gonna sue you for.
Well, how many people really even know?
Who knows? Funny story. A friend of mine, this band called Flamingo Nosebleed. A really good friend of mine I grew up with after high school. they did this really cool Metallica ripoff of Kill 'Em All, and it had like a flamingo like holding a Pabst Blue Ribbon beer, and it says "Chill 'Em All." It is amazing, and somehow they got sued for that shirt
because it was like an intentional rip-off or something.
Yeah, the Kill 'Em All album.
I don't know. I heard Metallica's kind of stingy about stuff.
Shit. I was like, but
who cares?
Who cares? And then the Jasons, something about I think they had what was it? Sometimes they'll use like a Misfits logo or like a Ramones logo, but they'll make it like just like different or whatever. But like supposedly they were getting sued too, and there was a big thing recently where Jason V from the Jasons was on this podcast called My Brain Hurts, talking about it, but I didn't get a chance to listen to it, but it would have been it sounded pretty funny. But
I didn't even. Yeah, I'm not surprised. I heard there's all that intellectual property crap or whatever.
Yeah,
people are always after that, trying to get their money. That's the other thing I know about YouTube. Man, people are just dinging everyone all over the place.
Oh, you never know anymore.
Like I know the one guy I listen to, that Rick Beato.
Oh yeah,
and he's like, okay, he goes through all his lists and all that stuff about whatever guitar stuff and whatever, and he's like, okay, I'm going to play this one song. It might be in there. It's by a certain band that I'm not going to mention because they're notorious dingers. And I think it was. I know there was Don Henley from the Eagles, and then I think it was the Beatles. Like if you just play a few notes, automatically your video gets dinged.
Oh,
it's crazy, man.
That is crazy.
Whatever floats their boat.
Right.
So then on your last one, you have Walking Away Today. Is that a Heartbreak song?
Yeah, the Heartbreak song. Like I said, at that time, it was because these songs were kind of written before 2020, and then we kind of just had them like kind of laying around. We didn't fully have them put together. But Matt was going through a rough time. I was going through a rough time, and I was just like, I thought it's a pretty good like sad love song. But like, we probably won't have as many like sad stuff like on this next record, but I think they were just like good to add to the mix to this record. I think it's like probably one of my favorite records we put out. I feel like every time we record it steps up more and more to what we were.
Okay.
From this record, like, oh, okay, the sound quality is all right there. And then this one, oh, okay, this is more poppy. It's got a little length to it. But I really like that record a lot.
So what kind of studio musicians are you guys? So, some people hate it with a passion. Some like it.
I love
some rock will go right through every. Some it takes them 5 years to do one thing.
Oh, no. We do pretty good, pretty quick and easy. And I like recording in the studio. I mean, I would even I haven't done it yet, but I talked about just doing do another project where it would just be in studio band.
And that's all it is.
Yeah, we'd never play live. It would just be all on like put out on like like Spotify and stuff, like a record or whatever.
Cool.
It'd just be like all like studio and like just be on the internet. And if it hit high enough, then I would do a show. But if it was like just see what it was.
Oh, we were talking with Nate Fong from the Maxies and all that. He's got the band Poindexter, I think it is, he was saying.
Okay, yeah.
He's out there in Southern California.
Right.
I think there's some out in like Detroit. There's some, and so they just practice over
I believe it.
Zoom. I don't know if it's Zoom, but some whatever. I mean, hey, it could work, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
That sounds like there'll be kind of all the audio issues, but maybe it doesn't. I don't know. It'd be cool.
Yeah.
Maybe you could do some collabs.
You never know. Our friends, they're from. So okay, one of them live in Ohio, and then like two of them live in like New York area, and then I think one of them lives up a little closer up New England area. But the band, they're on Mom's Basement too, and I don't know how they do it, but they're called The Suck, and they're a great band, super rock and roll punk rock band. But like they don't ever play. Like they just do like studio shit, but they'll like sell 300 copies within like 2-week period.
So then no shows.
No, they have so much of a good online basis that like people will buy their shit, like their record, and it's killer shit. Like it's really.
That'd be convenient. I mean, that'd be nice.
Yeah, it would be great.
You don't got to lug I guess you got to lug it into a studio unless everyone has their own studio at home.
I think the drummer in Cleveland, he lives like in Cleveland area. I think he has a lot of the studio stuff. So they just like fly out for like a couple days and record it, and that's it.
And you find one of them gigs.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Yeah.
You don't have to haul nothing to a bar, load it up in your car.
I mean, beginning of this year, January, we did, I think it was about a week with our friends Goners UK from Montana.
Ooh, Montana. Where at in Montana?
They're from...
like Billings or...
no, not Billings. What's the main one? I can't remember off the top of my head now.
Yeah, I don't even... Whoa. Cheyenne? No, I don't know.
No, it's not Cheyenne. It's...
Where's the maps?
Bozeman.
Bozeman.
Bozeman, that's it.
We're a Bozite.
Yeah, they're a great band. If you get a chance, check them out. They're a really good band.
Yeah, I'll hit them up because that's one thing I wanted to do a video podcast.
Yeah, hit them up. Guy is Robert. They're really funny and a great band. We met them in Colorado Springs a couple years ago, and then became really good friends with those guys. We're actually playing with them during Punk Rock Bowling for a matinee show.
Okay.
At the Sand Dollar in downtown, inside the plaza. It's us, Goners UK, the Slights, and the Nobodies. But it's like it's called the Hangover Helper series.
So what is that?
It's inside the plaza in that Sand Dollar I was talking about.
Oh, okay. That's the name of the place.
Yeah. It's called Sand Dollar. It's inside the Plaza Casino. It's on Fremont Street. But it's from like 12 to 3.
So now is it part of Punk Rock Bowling?
No, it's not. But I mean, it's smack middle where everybody's going to be anyway. So it's kind of cool.
So it is. We'll count it.
Yeah. So it should be a really epic show for I just, if you're having like a really bad hangover, and come in there and drink up a little bit more.
You might need some more alcohol to take care of that hangover.
Yeah. And we always get asked like so many times, like, what's it like to, like play or go to punk rock bowling? I'm like, it's experience. That's all I can say. You just got to go experience it.
Just got to do it once. Do you guys go that whenever it comes around?
Every year, yeah, usually. We played the festival 2021.
Okay.
And we opened up that Friday at like 1:30. It was great.
Was anybody there? Like, did people show up at the beginnings?
Yeah. I mean, there was like, first we were like, not sure. And then there was probably like, by the time we got in the second song, I think there was probably about like 70 people out there.
That's not bad.
Yeah, 70, 80 people. But it was cool. We played the Monster stage, and we played that Friday, and that Friday was so awesome. It's like one of my favorite days of punk rock bowling I've ever went to, because it was great bands like the Dwarves, the Queers, Pears, a lot of like Fat Wreck bands like Bad Cop, and Descendants headlined that day.
Oh, so, that'd be cool.
And they were on the main stage. We were on the Monster stage, a little smaller. But they had that year was pretty good. They have like some really great bands. That's probably, and Lawrence Arms was supposed to play, but they pulled out. And who else? They have Descendants. I think Mezingers played that day too. But they were just like killer band. That 2021 was pretty good. But we were supposed to, our first time as official punk rock bowling show was supposed to be 2020, but obviously COVID it canceled. We were going to do this club show with Andrew WK, and I was
that
like,
could be cool.
I love Andrew WK, man. And I was like, I was so pumped for it, and then I got canceled.
Hell yeah!
Because we have this song off Panic Attack called "Hey Bud, Let's Party." We were going to try to talk to Andrew and see if he'll like sing it, and we'll do a video for it or something. But we never got a chance to do that.
That sucks. That would have been so cool.
But it was a pretty good. It was supposed to be at Bunkhouse Saloon. It was us, Andrew WK, Man Baby, and the Draculas, which is a couple guys from River Bottom. I can't remember. The Riverboat Gambler, that's what it is.
Okay.
But that would have been a really cool show. But
I don't even know that dude was still playing.
Yeah. I love that. Like, I remember in high school, that first album came out, I was like, this record is the shit.
Yeah, we saw him at Warped Tour one time. One of the biggest thing I remember, that's where I figured out I was a little bit too big to crowd surf, No one wants to carry a 250-pound man up on a crowd.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But he was fun. He put on a good show.
Oh,
he was
yeah,
just crazy
killer,
and just hypers. Oh, get
Super
out.
killer, man.
You get some of those other bands, they just stand there. They're like a dud. You get like, all right, the music's cool, but I got to listen to this on the radio. But not him, dude. Oh, man, he was going.
It's like, it's one thing in the record, but like seeing it live, you're like, it's so energetic and it's like just great, like all fun, all fun games.
So what's up? What's next for Jerks? What's the Jerks plans?
Like I said, a new record. Probably tour a little. We'll probably do a couple runs, but we're probably. I would say we're not going to play out as much because I really want to take a lot of my focus on writing this new record. But we'll probably do some tours, like going in the fall and stuff. We've talked about trying to do East Coast and talk to a couple other bands that we want to go out there and like fly out there and maybe change with backline and stuff. But I would say that's pretty much. We're just going to work on this new record and hopefully tour a little bit more. And once it comes out, we'll probably be on tour for, I would say, at least like off and on for 6 months.
Nice.
Try to kick it out,
So when you're not on doing tour stuff, how often do you play in Vegas?
We used to play Vegas quite a bit, but like, I'm one of those guys, like after you, like especially in Vegas, like I wait around. If someone wants me to play, I just wait around. I don't like to be that guy that's like, oh, can I get on that show?
Come on, man, come on.
I know. I'm like, I actually just, if anything, because our rule would always be like, hey, let's just play one show a month in Vegas, and that's it. But we haven't played a while. I think our last Vegas show was in January. It was at the Sand Dollar, but before that we played with the Queers and Venomous Pinks and Mercy Music at the Dive Bar. That was our last bigger show we did. But yeah, we don't play it too much. Like I like playing stuff at like Double Down. Like I said, we just played the Sand Dollar. I really like playing there. It's a really cool club. And I used to when I did shows at Evil Pie. We used to play there all the time. And I always liked playing there.
That was your spot?
Yeah, that was my spot for about 5 years.
So how come they tore it down? Or I guess
they didn't tear it down. If we're gonna get real, we'll get real. They've always been corporate, but like they always had that part of them where it was mom and pops, I believe.
So they could kind of do what they want without the overlords.
And the guy that was in control of that, it was pretty much his idea, the whole thing around. They kicked him out as being a bigger, $50,000 million company, restaurant group. And I think after that, their corporate ideas got bigger, and they were kicking out the little people, And I was just like, I don't really support. I'll probably never walk in there ever again.
That sucks.
Yeah, but I had some great memories there, and I met a lot of bands, and I met a lot of cool people over the way.
That's cool.
Yeah, but we had a good little scene there for like a good 5 years. But I get it. But the thing that really irked me the most was that they didn't it was the people that built that place up. They didn't give it two shits. And that was kind of made me like.
You're like, we don't care about you.
I'm like, yeah, I'm done.
You were a stepping stone where they wanted to go, and they don't care.
And I get it, and it was cool. Evil Knievel, pizzeria. It was awesome. It was a great idea. But
so that was the theme.
Yeah,
so that's what Evil Pizza.
Yeah. Evil Pie. It was
Evil Pie.
Evil Knievel theme. Like they had Evil Knievel shit like all over, and I think one of the I forget his name. Not Robert, but one of the other brothers or somebody in the family. They had gave like some auction stuff, and they knew about this place. They helped. They business wise, they had some stuff put together, but it was really cool. I always liked Evil Knievel and stuff when I was growing up, and know about
Now there's a restaurant I can play at.
Yeah, that was great. And people when it started, people were like, "You can't have shows back here." I was like, "I'll make something happen."
Watch me.
But it was great because so many people liked playing there or going to shows there because they felt like it was going to a house show or a backyard party.
Yeah,
it was so much fun, and we had a lot of cool punk shows there, and it was I feel like for those 5 years, I think I did well, and it was maybe just time for it to dry out and say goodbye.
That's too bad. I mean, hey, it ran its course.
Right. No, that kind of it just ran its course, and it was fun, But yeah,
had a good time while it lasted.
Yeah, right.
I guess you guys don't have any shows coming up.
No, we do. We're playing next weekend. So we're playing Thursday night. So we're going out with our friends band, Guilty by Association. They're from here too. I don't know if you ever checked them out.
I've heard that name before.
If you can't get a chance, check them out. Great band. We're doing 3 days with them. Thursday night we're playing in Oceanside, California at Poorhouse. And then Friday we're playing in Spring Valley, California at the Bancroft, which is pretty much like San Diego area. And then Saturday we're playing in Ventura, California with them too, at Gigi's.
Ventura.
Yeah. We played out there a couple times. We have some good friends in Santa Barbara, so if we can get up to Santa Barbara, we always hit our friends called the Devereaux.
Okay.
We always hit them guys up.
I tell you, one of the funnest shows we ever played was in high school. I don't know how it came about. I have no idea, but we got hit up to go play a house party in Ventura, California. I was like, all right, whatever.
Yeah.
We show up, and it's like a suburb, like this. Cars just everywhere. You walk up, you can hear the band playing, but mom and dad and their older neighbor friends are sitting out there barbecuing in the garage. You go inside in the living room. When we got there was a Pantera cover band going.
No way.
And you're just like, okay. And, people are whatever drinking. Then you go outside, everyone's all smoking weed and everything. And it was just, you're like, who has a party like this in early 90s? But there was kind of an FYP type band.
Oh, nice.
I'm trying to remember what they were called, but yeah, it was just it was so much fun, but it was just so weird to happen to some house in Ventura. in the suburbs of Ventura.
Yeah, I love FYP. They're great.
We saw them at California City at a rinky-dink bar, and these two big old huge rednecks just showed up. They were trying to be all cool.
Oh, no.
It didn't go so well.
Oh, wow.
Turns out big old rednecks.
They played the same 2021 Punk Rock Bowling, too. I was surprised they got FYP. It was FYP.
I didn't think they're, because they got
Toys That Kill, you know?
Yeah.
And Todd from Recess Records in FYP, he runs a bar in California called, I think it's in San Pedro. It's called,
okay.
I forget what that place is called, but he runs a bar over there, and I had talked to him recently about trying to do a show, but they were already booked up, but I do want to play over there. I think it's called the, man, I forget. I'll have to think about it.
One day, it'll come to you.
Yeah, I love FYP. They're great.
Yeah. All right, well, thanks for joining me again, Josh. This has been awesome. And
always.
Maybe next time we come out, we'll have to do it again.
I would love to do that, man.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, dude.